Oh boy, Attack on Titan. Oh man, I loved this episode of Attack on Titan. We were on season 2, episode 2, episode 27 of Attack on Titan. This episode was just awesome. I loved the backstory of Sasha that we got within this episode. The opening, I think, is just fitting so well with this season of Attack on Titan. We got a little bit of the Survey Corps, and then we got that ending bit in mystery with Connie and his village. I have a few thoughts on that, but I'll talk about that later in this video. But before I delve into this, how are you guys doing? How has your week been? How is your Saturday going? My Saturday is going absolutely fantastic right now. I got great news coming up in a later video that I definitely want to share with you guys. But Tokyo Ghoul right now has been on point, and I'm delving into Attack on Titan and got My Hero Academia shortly after this. So I am just pumped with the content that we're getting on Saturday. I'm just so happy right now. It's so good. But just to start off, I want to reiterate about the opening. The opening for this season of Attack on Titan, I think, is fitting so well. It might not live up to the hype for some people about the other two openings that we've had in Attack on Titan Season 1, but I think this theme, this intro that we have for season 2 is just so awesome. I love the bit too when they're fighting, kind of like going towards the Colossal Titan on horseback, and you see like Jean and Mikasa and Eren going into his Titan form to fight the Armored Titan. That is my favorite part of the opening, and it just gets me so hyped to delve into the contents of this episode. But this episode, majority-wise, contained to Sasha, and I love that we're actually getting a little backstory on some of the minor characters that have popped up within Attack on Titan, because from the character standpoint, we know Eren, we know Mikasa, we know Armin, we know a little bit about Levi, Erwin, but we don't really know about like Connie and Sasha. They've shown up here and there. They've kind of been the comic relief, especially within season 1, because they didn't seem that too competent whenever they were in the field. Sasha in particular, you know, like she is the kind of like the joke of Attack on Titan in a way, because she is Potato Girl. She is the girl that everyone just like immediately goes to calling Potato Girl. She doesn't really like contribute all that much to the team, like especially when you go back into season 1 when they tried to win back that storage facility with the Titans, and you know, Sasha and Connie messed up by not killing those 2 extra Titans, and Annie and Mikasa had to show up. But what I love about this episode is that it gives more characterization to Sasha, and this makes me love her character even more, because what we learned about her within this like little story of this episode, especially with the flashbacks, we learned about how like Sasha has a different dialect, you could say, compared to everyone else, because she was raised in the forest. I kind of could tell by reading the subtitles as I was watching this episode, that's like her father talks a lot different than from what I've been reading from the other characters. And it kind of makes sense in a way, because Sasha is a character that was raised in the forest. She seems to be from a hunting village, and it was just like kind of like the backwoods of Attack on Titan's world. So they would have a different dialect, a different way of speaking. And when Sasha was actually joining the military, she would try to hide, I guess, her accent from the rest of the cadets. And even like Ymir and Krista showed up within this episode, within the flashback. And this is where like they kind of point out to us, like, yeah, she has a different dialect from everyone else. So she tries to act, or at least talk polite, so that way she could try to hide her accents. That way no one would either make fun of her, and that way she wouldn't be embarrassed around all of her friends. But I like how Krista stood up for her and was like, I don't care how Sasha talks at all. They're her own words. They make up who she is in a way. And anything that Sasha does, I like her. So I just absolutely love that part. Ymir was kind of being a little bit of a bitch to her, but like that's just Ymir from what I've seen so far of her character. It's just the way she acts. But I loved just the backstory and her heading towards her village with Sasha, seeing how it was all abandoned and she hasn't been there in 3 years, and showing up, and then like basically no one is around. And this is the part where like I was like, this is like, what the hell is going on here? This has to be the smallest Titan we have ever seen throughout Attack on Titan. Like, I have never seen a Titan this small. We've seen smaller ones compared to when Eren would transform, but I don't think we've ever seen a Titan about the size of like a human. Like, it was just so small the way it was portrayed, and how it was just kind of like gnawing on this woman as her child was watching. And I love how Sasha just came in and tried to kill it. Ended up not working. Couldn't save the mom, but she tried to save the little girl best that she could. And the part with the arrows, like, I just love that overall part when she's trying to escape, tells the girl to keep running, and I was just like, I was rooting for Sasha. I was like, you go, Sasha. You are climbing up the ranks as one of my favorite female characters, just overall character within Attack on Titan. She is an oddball. She has her own quirks. She's kind of like Hanji in a way for me. I love Hanji's character because she's weird, quirky, and is overall unique. out of everyone. And Sasha is like that too. But I just loved how she was like going after this Titan, wasn't going to take anything. She was like, I have these arrows. I'm going to try to stall as much as I can so that way this little girl and myself can escape. She is shooting off the arrows and she's missing at first. But then she ends up getting the one within the eye socket and trying to blind the Titan. And I love how like she doesn't even bother to shoot the last one. She just grabs it, goes gung-ho towards this Titan and physically stabs it into its eye and then uses the blood all around it and tries to escape the grips. And I love how she just kind of like jabs up at the Titan's head, escapes. And honestly, I was thinking like all of her family was dead at that point when she was trying to escape, and she ends up running to her father and a lot of the other men on their horses, and it turns out they were just going around to the other villages, just handing out horses that way everyone else can escape. And it was just a really good moment to see Sasha and her dad reconnect after all this time, and seeing how proud Sasha's dad was of her, and it was just an overall good moment. The flashbacks incorporated with Sasha's story was my favorite part of this episode. We also did get a little part 2 near the beginning with the Survey Corps moving out from Sto-Hiss districts. We also got to see some of Pixies, we got to see Hannes a little bit, and everyone's kind of like gearing up, leaving the innermost districts and heading out to Wall Rose to like kind of like regroup with everyone and trying to figure out what the hell this situation is going on with Titans breaching Wall Rose. And what's interesting too is they're actually bringing the priest of the walls, Nick. I love how Hanji was just interacting with like Armin, Eren, and Mikasa, saying like, oh, me and Pastor Nick are buddies now. And I just love that whole interaction and them kind of like determining and figuring out why the hell are there Titans within the walls. And Armin, being the smart character that he is, kind of figuring it all out. He's like, if you notice throughout all of Attack on Titan, whenever the Colossal Titan would breach a wall, he would always go for the gate. He wouldn't go for the surrounding wall and wouldn't try to break it there. He'd always go for the gate. And it turns out, it's like, what if they know that there were Titans within the walls the whole time and they didn't want to break those sections of the walls and just go for the gate? Because it wouldn't basically turn those Titans up against them, because there's something going on with the walls. There's definitely a mystery there, and it's bringing it to the forefront within this episode. It's basically stating, it's like, well, if there are Titans within the walls, and if you kind of notice too, the wall doesn't have any like crevices or anything that shows that it was built over time. It just seems like a solid structure, just kind of like one piece. And so that brings up the topic of like, what if the wall isn't made from like concrete or wasn't man-made? What if it actually has like Titan skin incorporated into the wall? I think that was a very cool topic just to bring up, and it shows the overall mystery that the wall has within this series. Now, the last part I just want to talk about before I am done with this review, because the Connie heading towards his village part brings up a lot of questions within the series, especially for me, since I have not read the manga and I don't know about the story going forward. This is just fun like theorizing and just speculating on what is to come in these upcoming episodes, because Connie arrives to his village and he is just looking around looking to find anyone alive, anyone that's in his village. It's basically desolate, it's a deserted town. He ends up going towards his home and we see this Titan actually like laying down within his house. The roof is gone, it's basically destroyed, and there's this Titan with very feeble arms and very feeble legs sticking out of the house. Now, this is where my theories and me speculating comes into play, because when I was looking at the Titan's eyes and you look at Connie's eyes, they look exactly the same. So what if, and this is like, I have no idea what's going to be coming. What if the Titan that was actually shown with the feeble arms and feeble legs was Connie's mother? Because we did get a little flashback, and it seems to have a striking resemblance to his mother, to when he was like reminiscing back to his dad, his mom, and possibly like his siblings too. What if the Titans didn't breach the wall, but are actually being turned from these villages? Like the Beast Titan just came in and just kind of like started turning people into Titans. Because we do know that for all the way back to Eren's flashback in season 1, Dr. Jaeger had this serum that he gave to Eren, and now he has the power to become a Titan. We don't know how he's able to control it, but what if that has something to do with how these people and how these Titans are popping up? And it's like, it basically shows that like, what if Titans are just people and like someone is turning all of these villages within the inner wall into Titans? And it just goes to show, like when I was looking at this Titan with Connie's like similar eye color and shape, it has a striking similarity to his mom. So that's just my theory right now. I have no idea if this is true or not, but I just love speculating and not knowing what's going to be coming, because I am just overall psyched to see what the next episode of Attack on Titan brings. And overall, very, very good episode. I love the Sasha bits. I loved getting to see Eren interact with Levi and Hanji and the rest of the Survey Corps moving out, heading towards to figure out what the hell is going on, what this mess with the wall rose being breached is all about. And then that ending bit with Connie being with Reiner and the group, basically discovering that the whole village is gone and there's just this Titan lying there with feeble arms and feeble legs, and knowing it's like, well, if it has this like in its structure, how did it get all the way into Wall Rose? And that's where my theory comes in. It's like it didn't actually come from anywhere. Maybe it was just the mom got transformed into this Titan, and it's because its arms and legs didn't develop, it kind of just stayed there and just was unable to do anything. Very interesting episode. I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this overall episode. What were your favorite parts of this episode? Did you like the whole Sasha backstory and actually getting to delve more into Sasha's character? And I kind of do hope, too, that we delve into more of these side characters as this season goes on, because these are characters, these are fun characters. I just want to learn more about them. So give me your overall thoughts on Levi, on the Survey Corps moving out, on Sasha's backstory, and then the whole thing with Connie and his village at the end. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you guys are fans of Attack on Titan and feel like subscribing, feel free to do so. I'm just going to be theorizing and just like overall enjoying this new season of Attack on Titan. And I hope you guys can join me on that journey through season 2 of Attack on Titan. I can't believe we have to wait a week right now. I just wanted to delve right into the next episode of Attack on Titan. So next week, I'm going to be hyped for the next episode to come, and I hope you guys are too. This is episode 27, and episode 28 I am really, really looking forward to. So that's it for my review, guys. I hope you guys are looking forward to next week as much as I am. So until episode 28, or season 2, episode 3 of Attack on Titan comes out, I'll talk with you guys then. All right, guys, see you later.